Hello and welcome to episode 162 of the video show. Today I'm going to talk about equipment and whether or not you can be a cheapskate when you're buying equipment for your videos. So this whole conversation started off because I bought this SD card, which is a 256 gigabyte SD card, 95 megabits per second, Extreme Pro. I got this from a website based in China, and I got this 256 gigabyte SD card for just £3.75. And as you can imagine, it is absolutely terrible. If I was actually to shoot a video using this SD card, it would look a little bit like this. So after that, I came up with the idea of what other equipment can you buy for less, and what equipment should you actually put some money into buying. So I've gathered some things together to show you, and we're going to talk through it now. So let's start with sound, because that's nearest to me. So the microphone I'm using is this Rode SmartLav Plus. This is probably like the 5th or 6th one I've got, because I go through one of these probably every 6 months because I use it pretty much every single day. This costs about £50, and I think it's a pretty good addition to my, my video recording. And what I've done is I've plugged this into my Zoom H4n Pro, which costs about £300. And before I had this whole sort of sound setup, what I did was plug my SmartLav Plus into my phone. And although it's pretty good, it's not as good as the H4n Pro, because there's so many different features on that. I can use that in so many different ways that the phone just cannot live up to. And another addition to that is I've got this other lapel mic, which costs about £10. And what I do is I use this as backup. Over the past year, I think I've only had to use it once, but between the £50 one and the £10 one, there is absolutely no comparison. The £50 one is better, the £10 one is okay, but for what I need it for, it just doesn't live up to what I need it for. I think if you're sort of just making videos just to sort of see how it's going, just to get started, maybe the £10 one's a good place to start. But if you're serious about making videos, invest in the proper one. Secondly, tripods, because that's nearest to me as well. This tripod I've had for about 12 years. And it cost me probably about £70. And I think I've used it about once. And the time I used it wasn't worth it. It was just a sort of, when I got this, I was making regular funny little films at university, but I had access to good professional tripods, like the ones I'm using here. I'm using one for this camera, one for this camera, and they cost a few £100s each. And I think there's no, if you're going to use a proper camera, you've got to get a decent tripod as well, because this has got wobbly legs, and if you've got something that costs a few £1,000s on top of it, you don't want to have wobbly legs. If you're using something a bit simpler in terms of your camera, then I've got this GorillaPod, which cost me about £25. It's okay, it's good for wrapping around stuff, obviously. It's quite versatile, it's quite nice to handhold it, but it is prone to falling over as well. And then this tripod is for your phone. It costs about £20, it's for your phone, it's pretty sturdy. For the video you're going to be making with this, it's probably worthwhile buying it. So in terms of tripods, I think if you've got an expensive camera, get an expensive tripod alongside it. But if you're using a phone or just a normal digital camera, something like that, you can probably get away with spending a little bit less in terms of tripods. So let's go over to cameras. So this camera this is a Canon G7X Mark II. It cost me about £500, and I just got it for a little vlogging camera, so I could sort of shoot videos on it, turn the screen round, and then just sort of talk to it. And for what that is, that's absolutely fantastic. And what I wanted something that was separate to my phone. So I've got my phone for my phone stuff, all my apps and everything on there, and I wanted a camera dedicated to that. So that is why I spent the extra money on that camera. If you're not so worried about that, if you just want to use your phone, I think that's absolutely fine. But if you want something that's a bit separate, something that you can go to and shoot videos on, get a separate camera. That's the only reason I think you should be spending money on a separate camera if you're going to be making videos yourself. Right, what else have we got? There's a few sort of other little bits I'd like to sort of talk about here. And the next thing is lighting. And this light I got, shall I show it right at you? So this light I got is just basically a clip on top of my camera. So what it just slides on top of the camera. And what I needed it for, I was shooting in a pretty dark room. I needed something that was portable, that was really easy to carry around. And this worked really well. It cost me about £15. It lights up like the immediate vicinity really well, but that is about it. And I just needed it for one job. I will probably use it again. It's quite handy to have around. And for £15, you can't really argue with it. Then we've got this other microphone here. Ooh, knock that off. I think this costs about, I'm gonna say about £100. This was just sort of to clip on top of my camera. It's okay, but if you're in quite an echoey room, it really does stand up. And in the end, I think I've stopped using this now because I'm just using the internal sound on the cameras and then this lapel mic here to record sound. This is really good for just getting started. So if you're going to clip it on top of a camera, and I think as it gets older, it falls apart. As you can tell, it has already fallen apart a little bit. So for £100, it lasts me about 2-3 years. Not bad in terms of that. But if you're going to spend some serious money on sound equipment, look into it first. Maybe ask me a question below. Do not sort of skimp on sound equipment is my lesson. Okay, here we go. This is a shoulder mount. So I got this for about, I think around about just under £100 on Amazon about 3-4 years ago. And what it does, it works really well. It's loads of different configurations for putting my main camera on this bit here and then just putting it on my shoulder. So it's better than having it handheld because you've got 3 points of contact, so it does keep it smoother. And I think for what it was, I've used it pretty much every single week that I've been making videos for over the past 4 years. So for £100, it was, yeah, a definite, a really good buy. Next, let's talk about GoPros. So this GoPro I got for about £350, it's the GoPro 5 Black. There's a little suction cup on here. I think you can save money by not buying the actual GoPro accessories. This is not a GoPro suction cup. It works just as well. I saw what was described as a GoPro timer, and it was for sale for about £50. And what it was just an egg timer. I bought an egg timer on Amazon for about £5, put the GoPro mount that came free with the GoPro on top of it, and it works just as well. You leave it going for half hour, it does a really good time lapse. I will show a video of it. Yeah, I'll just make a video of that right now. So, I hope that's sort of gone through a few little things in terms of different kinds of equipment you can get. Let's just sort of recap. If you're going to buy an SD card, do not scrimp on SD cards. You've got to make sure you get something that's make sure you've got something that's good quality. Make sure you've got something that's high speed if you're going to be shooting video. Spend a little bit of money on that. If you're going to buy a tripod, if you've got a decent camera on top of it, definitely buy a decent tripod. If you're buying cameras, if you want something that's separate to the camera that's on your phone, you want to put a little bit of effort into making your videos, then definitely spend some money on a camera. If you're buying, what else have we got? Lighting. I didn't talk about the ring light. The ring light I've got there, that's lighting me really well, cost me about £64. It's portable because it's battery powered and also you can plug it into the mains. I think it's done a really good job. I've used it on every single shoot since I got it about 2 weeks ago. For what it was, absolutely fantastic. I'm going to see how long it lasts, and if it lasts a few years, that's absolutely brilliant. But so far, I'm really, really impressed. So in terms of lighting, I think look around, be a bit clever with what lighting you're buying. There's no need to spend loads and loads of money on lighting when you can buy something for about £60 or £15 if it does the job. Then in terms of sound, you get what you pay for. If you want to spend £10, you'll get something that's perfectly decent. But if you want to spend more money, you will get something that is a lot better. So I hope that's helped you sort of understand what kind of equipment that you can buy, where you can save some money and where you shouldn't really save some money. If you've got any questions about what kind of equipment I use or what kind of equipment you want to use, post them in the comments below. And my mouth is really dry. I'm going to use this self-branded water bottle. Until next time, I'll see you in episode 163 of the video show. Thanks.